Hey guys, I'm Rachel Castile and welcome to Typology Corner. Today I'm going to talk about the four types of people in Myers-Briggs and the four types of people in objective personality. There are many other ways to study Myers-Briggs and lots of commonalities that the different types have, but these are two core systems that have helped me understand and grasp the 16 types and to simplify by learning like a core trait of a group of them really has helped me to understand all 16 and made it a lot more simple. So this top row up here is MBTI sort of categories of looking at SJ, that being types that are leading with the function SI, either in the first or the second position. This causes these types to uphold what life has taught them in a sense. It could be stereotypically, it's like traditional people who are wanting to uphold what was taught to them before in a sense, but it's not that black and white. It's more so their own life experiences, how they've categorized things that they've walked through, things that they've deemed significant in life. That could be in their family, it could be in society, it could be just the things that they've personally walked through. SI is kind of like memory in a sense. It's the past. It's the impressions that they've had going through life has stuck with them, and then they order their life according to it in a sense. So the four types that are in the SJ temperament is the ISFJ, the ESFJ, and then the ISTJ, and then the ESTJ. So, yeah, we have introverts, we have feelers, we have thinkers, but the commonality, the SJ, it all comes back to the SI function. Yeah, just a traditional observance of certain values, certain experiences in life that causes them to like order their families that way. It could be like wanting to pass on traditions from their grandparents to their children as a stereotype, kind of archetype of what that can look like. The next category are the FPs, and they are categorized by having the function SE in either the first or second slot position. And this causes them to be experiencers, wanting to live life in action and move and experience novel things. They are called the artisans in Myers-Briggs as a temperament. And the SJs are called the guardians, so like the guardians of tradition. Very dutiful sort of people. So, but yeah, guardians and then the artisans. And the four types here is, let's see, ISTP, ESTP, ISFP, and ESFP. So yeah, SE causes them to value gathering new things, having new experiences, having an active life in some way, engaging with the five senses. Them being called artisans, they can be like craftsmen, painters, musicians, mechanics, things where they get in with their hands and like really kinesthetically interact with life in some way, to take what's on the inside and express it in some active way. So yeah, that element of prioritizing SE kind of grounds them in the present moment and to do something that's creative in a sense, like it's art, as they've called it, like the artisan group. So just comparing this group to this group, the SI here is either paired with FE or it's paired with TE. The T types have TE with SI. The F types have FE with SI here. And in this group, we have the opposite. We have TI and FI. So we have an identity function paired with an openness to the environment around them, with a gathering process. And over here we have a organizing core sort of function married with a tribe. I'm using these terms down here, kind of mixing it, but I'll get to explaining that more. But TE and FE is others focused in their decision making and taking the past to help them serve the collective. And for the SPs, it's the opposite. They're more just open-ended on the outside, but their identity is where they're making decisions based on the self, based on what's personal, what's meaningful, what makes sense to them, and approaching the world. And for example, the mechanic idea of having a really good understanding of how the engine works, and then grabbing the engine and maneuvering the engine and putting it together and taking it apart, and or just the heart, their own expression, and putting that in their creation as they go out and create art. Or so you get the archetype of the SP group. So the types with S and P together, this is a truth for them. Either SE is first or SE is second, but it's a dominant part in the way that they show up in the world. It's based on the extroverted sensing, in a sense. Now moving on to the intuitive types, we have the NFs and the NTs. So it's a little different for them. These two are very much about a particular function, and they are more so categorized on having the mixing of intuition with feeling. It doesn't matter if the functions are internal or external. They kind of are a temperament of their own by having those two as a preference, and the same for the NTs. So the NFs, they are called, they call them the idealists as a category. So they are focused on the humanities, connection, authenticity. They value like real connection and like the depths of the soul. And they can be teachers, they can be counselors, authors, poets. This is kind of their bent towards like philosophy and sociology and psychology and things like that, because they're very just in tune with kind of the essence of people and wanting to study that. What that would look like, though, they either are NI paired with FE, or they are NE paired with FI. So it's like all four of those functions is the realm of NF whenever those are leading. So whether it's FE coming first and then the NI, or NI then the FE, or same with those, you get the combination of the four types. You get the INFJ, the ENFJ. You get the INFP, and then the ENFP type. So that's the four there. And what else to say about them? Having those two at the top, they have a bent in this area. That's where their gifting lies. So this is something to be studied when you look at it. Like, it's good to see these types based on their commonalities. Yes, they have a lot of differences, but their strength, their propensity has to do with what having these two together really emphasizes in their psyche, their ego, their focus in life. And now onto the NT types. These are leading with NI with TE or NE with TI. And the combination that is the remaining 4 types, which is the INTJ, the ENTJ, and the INTP and the ENTP types. And they are called, let's see, what was these like category names? The rationals, the intellectuals. Marrying in intuition with thinking, you get like the scientist, the engineer sort of brain, these innovators of society, of technology, seeing how they can like move humanity forward through invention. People like Nikola Tesla and modern day Elon Musk and yeah, like I could say this, like AI is very much like an NT world. NT people have invented AI and are moving that forward, looking at can machines do what we're doing so it can free us up, things like that, thinking about how do we get to the moon, how do we get to other galaxies and things like that. Yeah, thinking about how can we solve systematic problems for society. I'm not saying that all these types are totally like tuned into that sort of space, but that sort of thinking is birthed out of intuition and thinking together. So yeah, they're the rational types, thinking about how things work and how to improve things using the imagination and understanding and innovation. To move the world forward, to move their own life forward. It looks different if it's TI or TE, depending on what they're wanting to use that for, but just in the way that they run their life, in the way that they accomplish goals. Yeah. So that can be studied as a group. What are the NTs like? What is it like to have that in your top 2? Whether it's introverted, whether it's extroverted in orientation, you get these 4 types of people. So that's it for the Myers-Briggs categories. That is like the 4 temperaments of Myers-Briggs. Now moving on to objective personality, core human needs. You can take these same 16 types, and within these groups, you could categorize these types in a different way, and you would really get to the root of kind of what is mattering most to them. So not only do the SJs have something in common, but some of these and some of these and some of these could be put together under a different category and studied and understood based on the top need that is being met, or that they're always meeting first because of what their dominant function is. So yeah, just know that organize, gather, identity, and tribe is based on the very first cognitive function of the type. Is how we categorize. So getting into definitions, organize is types that are leading with SI or NI in the very first position. And these are functions that are organizing either past patterns or past experiences, first and foremost, ordering their life according to that. So the types that lead with organize, they don't gather as much because these are opposites in a sense. Organizing and gathering, you're either organizing what you have or you're bringing in more stuff, which is then making it a bit harder to organize it because you're adding more stuff in. So the organizers are based on a past, or more so it's a categorization of experiences that they've had. They've honored what they've been through. So the SJs, some of the SJs, the ISFJ and the ISTJ are under this category. I'm actually going to write it out. Let's see, ISTJ, ISFJ are in this category, but as well, the NI, our NI types is the INFJ and the INTJ are also in the organized group. TJ, and I, getting ahead of myself, INFJ, are 4 organized types here. So yeah, they dominantly have, they have lived life, they've seen things, they've seen patterns in life, and they've organized those patterns or organized those experiences, and they maintain the order of that, and then they order their life around what this order taught them or showed them. They saw patterns, and then they made a decision on how to order their life around those patterns or around those experiences based on, it's a perception thing. So these are dominant perceiver types. Dominant observer. This is not dominant decision making. Because as introverts, what you're going to encounter from these 4 types is their secondary process in the way that they interact with the world. People around them may think that they are a judger type, but the very first process is actually an introverted process that the world doesn't see. So these are dominant perceiver types, but the types of perception is not a gathering type of perception like in the SPs. This is more so an organized perception and living according to it. So it's not a judgment, it's a perception that they're living in agreement with. So I did explain that a lot, I just noticed, but yeah, that's how that works. And then onto the gatherers. The gatherers, we do have, this is a gathering sort of space, but there are 2 dominant gatherers out of this group that would land here, and that would be the E. Well, let me write the first thing. It's types that start with SE or NE. So that would be the ESTP and the ESFP. And then also we have some other EP types, which are over here. We've got the ENFP and the ENTP. ENFP and the ENTP. So something else I would write that I didn't do earlier, as a category, the organizers, you could say it's this. It's the IXXJ. So the IJ types, and then the gatherers are the EXXP. That's what they have in common. The EP types. So yeah, these types, the gatherers, they are dominantly gathering in new information first and foremost before making a decision. They have a thirst for novelty, whether it's in the realm of concepts or experiences and factual information. These types are dominantly gathering. This is the human need that they will always have to feel like they need to fill up their bucket. They don't get filled up by what they know. They are intrigued, curious about what they don't know. So they're always out gathering, having new experiences, learning life through exploring life in a sense, whether the conceptual space or the experiential space. But yeah, these 4 types could be studied and understood by the commonality, the life preference of gathering first. So looking at these 2, they are opposites. I'll spell a little X. They're opposites. So those that major in this is their greatest weakness, would be organizing. Those that organize gather the least. Stereotypically. So it's just the other side of the coin, basically. If this function comes first, if SE comes first, then NI is last for the SE types. NE coming first, so SI is the last function for them. Vice versa, our SI dominant has NE last. It's working on an axis on a coin. So yeah. But these are our 2 observer categories. These are both perceivers first. The IJs and the EPs. Now, moving on to the realm of decider types, we have identity types and then tribe types. So we're pulling from, this is all the same 16 types being organized based on a different thing that we're observing about them. So our identity types are types that lead with FI or TI as the very first function. So those 4 types that are that way are our IP types. So here we have an ISTP, an ISFP, then we also have an INFP and an INTP. So ISTP, ISFP, we have the INFP, and then the INTP. And as a group, they are the IXXPs. So these types, first and foremost, is they are in tune with the self. They honor the self. They honor where they stand on something, sorting out their identities, sorting out their belief systems, sorting out what matters most to them, what is true to them. They're always pushing out and defining the self and seeing what they don't identify with and getting rid of it and staying true to the self first and foremost is what they are aware of. Identity first. They kind of move to the beat of their own drum, and their message is be true to self, in a sense, to just kind of look at them as an archetype. Now you can look at how that manifests differently in these 4 types, but that's what they have in common, is being in touch with the identity, knowing what's real for them and staying true to it. It may cause kind of turbulence in their relationships, and they kind of have the grace to say, well, that's just kind of how it is, and that's just what I have to lose because I have to stay true to me, is the default kind of wiring mindset for them. Now, the last 4 is tribe. Tribe is about community, belonging, being in tune with the collective, and improving either society, relationship groups. These people identify with the groups that they're a part of the most and kind of feel the pulse of the community. And they more so identify with the group than being in touch with the self. So just like these are opposites, identity and tribe are opposite sides of that person. Our tribe types, they lead with FE or TE, first and foremost. So those 4 types, they can be pulled out of the SJ category, the NF, and the NT. So we have the ESFJ, we have the ENFJ, we have the ENTJ, and then the what's left? What did I leave off? Oh yeah, ESTJ. And as a group, they are the EJ types. So yeah, the EJs are most in tune with other people. And they struggle with making or even being in touch with their own thinking or their own feelings, their own emotions. It's the other side of that coin, depending on which function they're leading with, whether it's FE or TE. But the tribe people, they are leaders of the community, leaders of moving society forward in their spheres of influence. They are the most in tune with what other people think, how other people feel, and how to accommodate communities, groups, organizations, how to how to move an organization forward in a certain way, because they are just in tune with the collective. They can speak on behalf of all the people, in a sense, because of just that awareness. Their dominant function has them check in with the tribe constantly. They're always like getting more information on other people. Um, and that helps them to, whether it's like in the realm of thinking, they can like improve a product, they can improve, kind of like this engineering space, um, of moving something forward, and because they are just in tune with collecting the data, collecting what's going on, like having their pulse on what's going on in society, what's going on in the trends, what's going on, what are people saying, uh, people who are tribe focused are aware of what other people are saying, what other people's feedback is, their impressions on things, and based on that, depending on the heart, they can do really well with that knowledge, or not so good. It's more so just saying the preference is to make decisions um, that benefit whatever the objective is of either moving society forward. I'm saying it on a big scale, but it can be just a family, it can be a relationship. Um, yeah, these types will make a decision that works for the collective dominantly. So, as a result of that focus, they are not as in touch with their own identity or their own belief system or their own reasons. It can be difficult for them to make that swing and to make a quote unquote selfish decision. But that is what growth looks like when you look at across the groups. When we look at getting balanced, tribe people need to get more in touch with their identity, and identity people need to get more in touch with the community, with the collective, and getting that feedback, and taking what is personal to them and it being able to serve the whole group too, as opposites. And hear about gathering and organizing. Gatherers need to organize, and organizers need to gather. But dominantly, the gifting is the dominant function, and that's always going to be what you add and bless society, bless people with. Your gift to the world will always flow out of what you're really good at. And it's important to live a life that is congruent with your dominant function, so that you just have quality of life, that your gifts are valued where you are, that you're not living, yeah, something that's out of the flow for you. But so yeah, this is two really, really important ways to see the types through the lens of these groups. Just to understand how different we are. Number one, just for the sake of understanding, it's very important that we don't project onto others what is normal for us, that it should be normal for them, in terms of just how we're gifted differently. But then in growth, we start to understand, having this knowledge, how we can grow and kind of build up and get in balance, and to not overdo the addiction of what we're good at the expense of another side of our life. Or even having the wisdom to outsource the other part to another group that would be good at it based on their gifting. So really looking at this as like a science, as a study, there's so much you can pull from it, depending on what your goal is, what you're trying to do. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful to you in some way. If it has, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate your feedback. Subscribe for future content. I'm always rolling out just more type knowledge on the Enneagram, on Myers-Briggs, objective personality, soul health, just how to improve your overall quality of life, how to understand yourself. I also offer coaching and typing. If you want help knowing exactly what your type is, I'd love to help you with that. Links in the description to my website, typologycorner.com. And yeah, I'd love to meet with you, book a session, and work through whatever you'd like to achieve in your life. So yeah, guys, thanks again for watching. Again, I hope this video has been a blessing to you in some way, and I will see y'all on the next one. Take care.